What up, G Life? It's your boy Answer Shadow back at you with another video. Now, here to answer the infamous question. But before I do, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. Give your ideas of what you think in the comments, and make sure to share because YouTube. Be on that bullshit on sharing my channel, and check out the playlist where I have the rest of my videos. Now, answering the question, Varrio or Barrio, and why it's that way. And here's one thing people need to understand, because it's something that I hear all the time in the comments, and people are just ridiculous. Yes, it's called a barrio. It's with a B. This is true. We all know that. We're not stupid. We realize that it's barrio with a B. Now, the reason why some or most gangs use Varrio instead of barrio is for numerous reasons. One, one of the reasons why a lot of these gangs would use barrio instead of barrio is when you beef it with gangs that use, every neighborhood has your letter that you represent. Mine is the R, obviously, for Radford. Other homies, whatever the letters, A is for Avenues, or T for Tunerville, or whatever, you know what I mean? That's the letter you rep, you know what I mean? So if you beef it with gangs that start with the letter B, you're not gonna want to use, their B. That's why letters are always crossed out. If you see letters why they're crossed out for the enemy's neighborhood, the letter they represent, that's why it's crossed out. Or they just rather not use it. They'll leave it out, or they'll change it to another letter that could be used to replace that letter. You get what I'm saying? Like when let's say, for example, words that are spelled like with Y, but if you beef it with a letter that starts with Y, you put IE instead of the Y's. You try to avoid using the letter. Like my neighborhood, we use the V, obviously, because we beef it with the boys, and heavily, so we'd rather not use the B. So it's use V. And not only that, but another thing is that when you're talking about a barrio, Latino, Hispanic, Mexican, whatever language you want, however you want to call the damn language, because nowadays you can't even say nothing no more without it being turned into a debate on its own. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyways, whether you want to say Latino, Hispanic, or Mexican language, when you're talking about barrio, you're talking about that's the word that people use to describe their neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's called a barrio, your barrio. But when they're talking about it, they don't mean it in a gang sense. They mean it as this is their barrio, their neighborhood. When we're talking about barrio, that's because we're talking about our gang. If we're talking about our barrio, we're talking about like our home, like our neighborhood. If we're talking about barrio, that's because we're talking about our gang. We're not talking about because if you say barrio, they're gonna think you mean like, oh yeah, like you're just talking about like your neighborhood or whatever. But if you say barrio, they're gonna assume, or they're gonna automatically know you're talking about their neighbor or your gang. So that is the reason why it's like that. It's not that these motherfuckers don't know how to spell, or they don't know what it means. They know what it means. We know the difference. We're not dumb. This goes back to what I say when people talk without knowing. I swear to God, they automatically assume, oh, these idiots don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to spell it. Don't talk and don't give your opinion on something you have no idea about. You know what I mean? Get to know some shit first, then criticize, then give your opinion. Because guess what? When you don't know, when you start saying all this stupid shit, you sound like an idiot. So it's not that the other side is stupid, as you are talking without knowing. Get to know some shit first. Moral of the story, don't talk without knowing, please. You know what I mean? Get to know something first, then criticize. Don't criticize before you even know what's happening. Because as you know, and everyone else knows, it's not good to do that. It's never good to try to criticize the opposition or the other side, or give an opinion or judgment on something that you have no knowledge about. First learn it, then criticize. And that's with anything in this world. You know what I mean? It's never good to do that. Even if it's something as stupid as gangs, because you get nothing out of it, it's better to stay in school. I always say this. But even in that, you know what I mean? Because whenever you talk without knowing something, you look foolish, always. And that's the reality of it. And yes, in this gang culture, you get nothing out of it, and yes, it's all pointless to begin with. Yeah, all very true. But that doesn't mean you get to make up shit or or lie about it or say all this and that. You know what I mean? Um, come with the facts first. But that's just the reason for it. If people, because I do see that a lot in the comments, and people always leave that, and it's like, yes, and there is some gangs that do use the term barrio. They wanted to be, they wanted to go back to the original roots to it. You know what I mean? Either one is right, depending how you want to look at it. Yes, it is barrio with a B. And when you're talking about gangs, you know that's the reason why they use the V. Due to that, for that reason, because it's like, yeah, but this is not our barrio. Because when you're talking about barrio, it's kind of like you're talking about like your neighborhood, like everyone else talks about it. When you mean barrio, it's kind of like you mean your gang. You see, you get it. You get why they would use that term instead of that term. That way, when you're talking to somebody and you're bringing it up, they being Latinos and them not knowing how California or how the United States is with gangs and everything like that, they'll be able to tell the difference of what you're talking about when you mean barrio and barrio. That way, they don't get it confused. You know what I mean? And when they're telling their tale, they don't get it missed. Confused, because then somebody could be hearing and take it the wrong way. You get what I mean? But this is just a quick one, just breaking that down. MC Shadow, we out.